We are very welcome you at our webinar, Integrating Solar and Green Roofs, Learning from Practical Examples and Expert Guidelines. We have two amazing speakers today, but first I will introduce you today's moderator, Vera Enzi-Zechner. She is EFB Vice President, independent consultant, and maybe she will tell more about herself. She wears a lot of hats. Thank you very much, Vera, for agreeing for moderation our webinar today. She will introduce our organization, European Federation of Green Roofs and Living Wall Associations, and our today's speakers. I wish you a pleasant webinar. Welcome, Vera.
Thanks a lot, Tatiana. Welcome, everyone, to today's webinar on solar green roofs. I will start with a quick introduction to the topic. Yes, a few interesting summaries about the EFB, probably also about our great sponsors today, some intro to our speakers, and then Sophie will already take over and start. So welcome once again. Solar green roofs, a topic that beautifully merges climate resilience with clean energy innovation. As cities grapple with rising temperatures, biodiversity loss, and energy demands at the same time, solar green roofs offer a powerful solution. They cool our buildings, generate renewable electricity, manage stormwater, create habitats for urban wildlife, and all from the same rooftop. This dual-use technology is gaining momentum across Europe and beyond. From Germany to the Netherlands, integrating systems have shown measurable improvements in energy efficiency and biodiversity. Recent publications like the Solar Green Roofs Guideline, launched at the World Congress of Green Roofs and Walls, highlight how combining photovoltaics with vegetation can boost solar output by up to 15% while extending roof lifespan and reducing maintenance costs. Yet, despite their promise, solar green roofs are still underutilized. And this is why we are holding our webinar today, because implementation varies widely across different regions and supportive policies are only beginning to catch up. That's why today's conversation is so important, to share best practices, inspire collaboration, and accelerate adoption. So let's dive in, exploring how we can transform our rooftops into thriving ecosystems and energy hubs. I'm thrilled to be joined by two outstanding experts in the field, and I'll introduce them in a bit later. I hope that you can actually see our screen. So just to remind ourselves where we are today, our host is the EFB, the European Federation of Green Roof and Living Wall Association. This European umbrella organization had been established in 1997 as a non-for-profit. Currently, today, we are 18 national associations covering 20 countries in Europe. And of course, a lot of collaboration with the European Commission ongoing, World Green Infrastructure Networks, our colleagues at ERCA, IFLA, So Green, etc. If you want to find more about the EFB, please visit our website. One of the main tasks of the EFB to offer as much great knowledge that we have in our large-scale network as widely and barrier-free as we can. So we are recording today's webinar and we are publishing it as well afterwards. So also people from around the world, not just in Europe, can access. And today's webinar still, of course, comes along with organizational effort. And we have two great companies today who are actually sponsoring our webinar and yes, helping the cost getting covered that is necessary to organize it. So our first sponsor today is Fürs, Grün, a system provider in the green sector with a wide range of products for green roofs and gardens. So in addition to geotextiles and garden lighting, they also offer solutions for pond construction, erosion control, and of course, green roofs and walls. And our second sponsor today is Sempergreen, company dedicated to transforming gray buildings into vibrant green oases. Most of you, of course, will be familiar with this company from the Netherlands, existing since 1996. So they have a lot of different solutions available: vertical gardens, multifunctional green roof solutions, ready to lay ground coverings, and recently as well different forms of solar green roofs. So thanks a lot to our great sponsors for today. And I would say it is time for our first speaker today, which is Sophie Rousset-Rouvière. And she brings a French perspective to the biosolar conversation as one of the vice presidents of our European Federation of Green Roof and Green Wall Associations. And she is as well a general delegate to ADIVET, France's leading association for green infrastructure. Sophie has a background in communication and urban ecology, and she has been instrumental in shaping national policies, most recently through the Climate and Resilient Act, which promotes green roofs and tools for biodiversity and climate adaptation. So she's a passionate advocate for nature-based solutions and urban greening across Europe, and will talk about a joint project that European Federation have been doing together with the World Green Infrastructure Network, that will be hopefully helpful to a lot of people out there deploying good green roofs and yes, solar installations. Sophie, the floor is yours. Please bring your presentation up to the screen.
Okay, thank you very much for this introduction. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm very, very pleased to share with you this, I can say, this beautiful project of this resource guide named Solar Green Roofs. And maybe I think that it's interesting to speak from France regarding this topic, because in France we are maybe not at the middle, because just at the beginning of crossing the river. That is to say that we are envisaging to have solar green roofs, but not yet as in Germany, Australia, Switzerland, and in some other countries. So it was very, very interesting for us to be involved in this project with WGIN, EFB, and as well Solar Power Europe. The philosophy, let's say generally speaking, is really to give a publication presenting the state of the art regarding these technologies with a real, we said, joint expert led publication, that is to say, with a real team work regarding all these technologies. So what is about? The first thing again is regarding the team as itself, and really I'm very pleased as a co-animator with my colleagues from Canada, actually North America, to say that it was common work. Just if you consider the working committee members, since they were coming from Canada, USA, Australia, Norway, Switzerland, Netherlands, UK, Germany, and France. So you can see that the representation is quite wide, but we have as well some peer reviewers involved at the end of the work in order, of course, to review it, to be sure that everyone was okay with what was written. And they are coming from Portugal, Germany, Norway, UK, Denmark, USA, and Belgium. Just with this rapid presentation of the countries involved in this project, you can see that it is really something globally shared. But as well, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Green Roofs for Healthy Cities, Sempergreen, Sika, and Knopf Insulation, and of course, as well as our partners, BUG, which is the German association, Kronstadt Grau, coming from Austria, Austria Solar, and my own association. So again, the teamwork is really important to have the philosophy and the spirit of this guide. Just as a presentation, I don't know whether you are well aware of about the WGIN. The World Green Infrastructure Network is a network, as its name says, of course, the mission as EFB, as our local or national association, is to advocate and promote the integration of green infrastructure in urban planning globally. It has been founded in it was founded in 29, and today it has 22 national associations, but as well some not only associations, but as well some industrial, so some private companies. And one of its main, let's say, rendezvous as the congresses held by the WGIN, more or less on a yearly basis. As well, there is a quite important work which is done at Europe, at the European level, with the European chapter, which is more oriented, let's say, to lobbying, which is really key today in order to again advocate correctly our activity to the politics. EFB, you already know everything about EFB thanks to Vera. And then back to the guide itself. What I want to present to you this afternoon is the content, the table of contents, of course, but then we go a bit deeper in the content itself, just in order to give you the philosophies, the overall view of this guide and what you will or would be able to find in it. It's a quite consistent guide, which is a 100 pages guide, so you will find a lot of information in it. Then after the introduction, there is a technology overview because we don't know who are the readers, so it's important to give for all the kind of readers some state of the art regarding the green roof technologies, regarding the solar energy technologies, both photovoltaics and thermal solar, then to highlight the benefits coming from these solutions, then of course to develop all questions regarding design and implementation. Of course, to give some elements regarding cost factors and market trends, which are somehow one of, not the sole thing, but one of the key elements to launch a project or not. I think what a chapter which is important is the regulations and policies. It's a chapter where we share on today what are the policies in favor of these kind of solutions, just to full ideas to give inspiration to the other politics, for instance. And of course, it was very important for us as well to share case studies, again, not only to give inspiration, but as well just to express what is a real life. So now we will go through it a bit more in detail. I talked at the beginning of this speech about the philosophy, the spirit of the guide is really to have a holistic approach. Again, to say, not to say, and in France, for instance, we are very well placed to talk about that, because in France we have an act, a law, which says that for certain kind of buildings, you have to put either green roofs or, let's say, renewable energies, or mostly is photovoltaics or maybe thermal solar. That is to say that how the law is written, you have in mind that it is either one or the other one. And we realized in ADIVET, my French association, when we discussed with politics, that it was very difficult for them to just imagine that it was possible to put vegetalization, green, with solar solutions. So the thing is just to say we have limited spaces, but we have the roofs. And in a already very dense configuration, which is the city's configuration, then we have the opportunity to have the combination of two excellent solutions for many benefits that we will develop. The philosophy of this guide is really to say it is not a competition between solar and vegetalization, but just to work together. And the other aspect of the spirit of this guide is really to be benefit-oriented. Say, okay, you want to install it, but what can you expect from them? From vegetalization, from solar solutions, and from the combination of the two. Regarding the technology overview, again, since we don't know what the reader knows or doesn't know, we'd like to share the state of the art regarding, for the one hand, the green roofs, and for the other hand, the solar roofs. That is to say that we define the various typologies regarding green roofs, and we explain how it's composed from the waterproofing membranes until the vegetation. And same thing for solar roofs, because sometimes we know that already it's difficult sometimes to make dialogue between building and vegetation, but here you have building, vegetation, and solar technologies. And regarding solar roofs, we explain photovoltaics, solar thermals, then the different components of the solar systems, and regarding panel orientation, in order the readers can really consider correctly all the elements, because these technical elements are key to be perceived correctly in order to think about the project correctly as well. As I said previously, we really like to be benefits oriented, and then you'll see, if you just have a look on the guide, or I hope that you will download it if it's not yet done already, you'll see that the pages regarding the benefits are quite developed, and especially, as you can see on this slide, there were selected research findings. So of course we didn't develop all the results of all these scientific papers. However, we put these references in order to really have the proof of all these benefits we show regarding green roofs, solar roofs, and the solar green roofs integration. And of course, as you can see on this slide, we put some time to time some illustration in order really to accompany the text and the presentation of all these benefits through these scientific papers. As you can imagine, but I prefer to say it, the various benefits concern the biodiversity support, the energy generation performance, ballasting, integrated fire protection, which is really a key element, a key issue, energy efficiency, life cycle benefits, ecosystem services, green jobs creation, because of course there is people behind all of these technologies, and rooftop food production. And our friends from Bourg allowed us to use this very illustrating illustration you have on the right of the slide, with the combination of all these benefits all together. The idea as well is to give the keys to have a project well done with a real performance-led design. The idea is not solar and vegetation together just to have something which is hype. It's really to have something which provide the benefits either from vegetation or from solar systems, or coming from the combination, the integration of the two, and then to think the project with these objectives in mind to ensure that they will be done. So that is to say that we speak about effectively use, assembling a team, situation evaluation methods, structural loading and wind uplift, accessibility, water management, material handling, and many other design principles. That is to say that here, even if it is not a very high technical guide, we highlight all the points that are really to be very important to pay attention in order to succeed with this project. And we summarize this via this 10 steps guide, 10 main steps. That is to say, we would be able to say it is a 10 keys to have a successful project. Of course, I won't read that in details. You will read it carefully when you will have when you download the document itself. But it's really step by step. What are the things to be done in this way without forgetting any of this step? So then we, of course, as I said previously, even if it is not a very highly technical guide, however, we'd like to go quite deeply regarding all the technical aspects, and of course, layout and installation are key. We didn't want to make, how can I say, to have a priority regarding the different technologies. We just present them, as you can see, for instance, on this slide. We just present the state of the art, and then we know that there are studies comparing them, trying to find what's the best. Let's say it very quickly. What is the best in this case, or what is the best in this case? The aim of the guide is really to present what the different solutions are today, and then up to the designer to define his objective, and then to define the best way to again finalize these objectives. So then we highlight regarding layout and installation, of course, the plant selection, panel spacing and height, avoiding the mistakes, as said in the introduction, of course, because there are some countries, which is not the case in France, but there are some countries which are already maybe they are pioneers of this solution, then they have already more or less 10 years of experiences. So it's very useful to rely on the experience. And then, of course, we address as well the maintenance and other topics regarding all of this aspect regarding layout and installation. And we highlight as well the challenges and the trade-offs regarding planning, coordination, logistics, because now you have not only a building, as I said previously, and vegetation, but as well other workers coming from the solar solutions, scheduling, physical allowances, and specific retrofitting issues, because the question is as well, of course, when you have a new building, you can not do everything, but you have a kind of freedom. But when you are on an existing building, then what are the issues regarding retrofitting? Regarding cost factors and market trends, what we'd like to highlight is the fact to envisage as well the commercial issues, and just not to say, oh, it's expensive. No, it's expensive is nothing to say. So it's to put in perspective what the investment is and what the return on investment could be, and as well the market trends, that is to say some especially regarding the countries who have this real experience, as I said previously, to know a bit more about the trends regarding this market, and to envisage the future of these technologies. This chapter regarding regulations and policies, I think, are very useful. This is very useful. Why? Because it's very practical. That is to say, as you can see on the slide, it's just a small abstract. You can see where the type of regulations or policy is, where it's come from, what is named, and what you can find in it. And for instance, from a French perspective, it's very interesting, because then we, when we discuss with politics, we can say, look, in this country, there is this and this already put in place. So it's really a kind of inspiration, and I would say a kind of challenge that can be very useful as well. And it is very practical. It's not something thought, it's not something, it's not a dream, it's reality. So sometimes it's very useful, and especially I personally use it a lot in France in order to share it with politics as inspiration. And then we almost finished with case studies. And again, for us, it was very important for the working team to share these case studies, and we really paid attention to have various case studies, to have different kind of buildings, different kind of solutions, to have photovoltaics, but as you can see on the screen, as well to have thermal solar, to have different objectives, to have new building, to have retrofitting, really to combine, even if they are not very numerous, but to have a very various perspectives in order, again, to be the more comprehensive as possible, of course. At the end of the document, we have some I guess, a conclusion to inspire action, because the thing is, okay, you have read the book, you have read the guide, so now go ahead, do something. And after this conclusion, we have appendices that I want to highlight them as well, because there is a glossary, and to use the right terms, to define the right concept is very important. And I can say that we had real discussions about how to define these terms or the other ones. So it's really important to share the same vocabulary. It's really the beginning of everything. We, of course, indicate our resources, our sources, and the list of tables, which is quite classical. So if you are interested, and I'm sure you are because you are here today, you can find, and I think that the presentation will be shared with you. You can find the link here, or the QR code, in order to go directly on the right page on the WGIN website, where you can find the guide and where you can download it from, where you can download it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Sophie. We already received a lot of questions in the chat.
Oh,
yes, that's great. So we are getting into a discussion now. Yes. So probably at first we take the comment from Steve, who says when he uses the download link, because I posted the link to our EFB article, which leads to the download page, to the Wiki page earlier. He's not sure if it does download. Yes, Steve. So the process is the following. You're getting to a page where you have to leave a bit of a data of yourself. So your name, your email address, and so on. And after submitting the request, you receive an email with the download link that allows you to obtain the document. So this is basically how it works. And Dari Krastev is asking also in the chat, would we get the webinar recording in the end? Yes, of course. It will be online on YouTube, like all our other different webinars and different technical aspects of green roofs and green walls. So once it's uploaded, we are going to remind everybody who has been attending to share it and also rewatch it. So yes, no worries about this part. And yes, then Sophie, we have had a lot of different technical questions. So wait, I'm now just quickly going through the list and then see.
I'm not a specialist, I'm not an expert, so maybe Vera and maybe Andreas, I don't know, will be able as well to answer the technical questions.
Yes, but I think what James asked was quite relevant. So he was asking, water management was mentioned, but to what extent? Has any consideration been given towards integrating water attenuation for flood mitigation and water availability for the green roof? So I think summarizing, and probably you can also help me out a bit on that, Sophie. Yes, of course, we have been talking about stormwater management and stormwater build-ups in the guidance as well. Mm-hmm. But of course, the specific technical guidance on how the green roof itself, however it is built up, and the integration of the solar installation, however it is integrated, was in focus. So to my understanding, yes, this part was of course mentioned, but the guidance is not a guidance on stormwater management on green roofs. Because we have a lot of different also national and international guidance on that aspect.
Yeah, and to come to add just something, the issue and the way that stormwater or water management is addressed is specification of having the panels, so somewhere the rain which is going on the panels and going on a very dedicated place, while under the panel you don't have rain. So it's how to manage this as well. It's not only radar management as we have on a green roof, but as well how to manage it because of this specification.
Yes. Probably one of the questions we also received in the chat is a good question for Andreas. So we have, I think, Sander online, and he is asking about the use of pesticides and herbicides or chemicals in plant production for green roof plants and what we probably know about it or don't know about it. I have already answered in the chat that in general the use of pesticides and herbicides is strictly forbidden on green roofs, so in basically all countries. And personally, if I approach a project, I know where I get my plants from. I use a lot of seeds, but this is not the issue. And B, I also use producers that provide organic plant material for green roofing. So, but that's my personal approach. So probably it would be good to hear some more comments from the two of you. And then another question by Isabella, which we can probably also take up. She will be doing her final master project on agri-photovoltaic roofs. And yeah, she would like to know what aspects are important to consider in a project, probably apart from the 10 steps guide that Sophie had presented already. And if we also included some case studies that she can take a look at. So probably Andreas wants to comment on the plans, and probably Sophie would like to take up the question with case studies.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we have specific case study on agri-photovoltaic. I'm not sure. We'll have to check and maybe I will answer to you. However, agri-photovoltaic is envisaged and it's mentioned in the guide. But maybe since we don't have, as I said, that many case studies, we have around 10 case studies. I'm not sure that this very specific agri-photovoltaic is included in. However, in the guide itself, in the guidance itself, then it's mentioned, and of course it's something specific. I will just have a look and check, and I tell you, maybe in the chat directly.
Thanks a lot, Sophie. Andreas, would you like to give a short comment about plant material, or do we shift the question probably to a bit later, because we should also give you some time to present? I have heard that we received your presentation, so probably Tatiana can get it on the screen already while we are still talking.
It was really experiment. No, I can just give you an answer. For us, it's important. Of course, you told like we can never ever use fertilizer on pesticides. If you have to install in such a situation, it's a different situation for the plants to the bottom on the roof. It's a special soil. It's less soil mostly, and the conditions are different. We are higher. I'm telling you always in Switzerland, when I say when we go up 10 meters, it's 2 climate zones south. And we will make the research on that, believe me, we'll do that. If to say we have to use the same autochthon types on plants on the roof than we have on the bottom, it's an illusion. It's an illusion, but we have to focus on that we can use as much as possible for the bees and bugs, local stuff, but not only. On that we have to face, and the climate, it's changed. We have to respect it, and more we have these breaks in the summer that we have a problem with this long time or special strong dry times or hot times, and this is another reaction on the bottom than on the roofs, and that we have to just to face. And we have the solutions from the Mediterranean regions how to handle it. We have experts, and we have to focus on the solutions, or not on our dogmas and ideas and ideologies. We have to save, and I say sometimes really funny, I say the bees, come on, the bees, they have the globalization many times in the back in the last million years, and we have not to think only about the bees, that they lose their food plants when it's something changed. A green leaf helianthemum or a silver leaf helianthemum, it's not that much different for the bees, believe me. They will take it, the polls, and from that too, and all these things. It's another level of a discussion which we have to face, pragmatic, and of course we have to respect the local things, but it is not black and white. We have to find a solution.
Yes.
And we have to testing.
Yes. So Andreas, Sander just had the idea that we could do a bit of a discussion about what he was specifically mentioning at the end, and he can switch on his video and audio. So let's do this at the end. I also agree. Thanks a lot. It's a very good solution, that we also understand where that specific question was coming from. So, but we have your presentation on the screen. So I will quickly introduce you, Andreas. And after my introduction, I would ask you to just, 15, 20 minutes.
Of course, I go fast. I go faster.
No, bring us along on your journey, which is more an innovative one. So welcome, Andreas Dreisiebner. He is a Swiss pioneer in sustainable urban development and renewable energy, I would say. So with over 25 years of experience, he is the founder of A777 Garden Design, and he serves also as research and development manager at Solarspar, where he focuses on integrating green roofs with solar technologies and really realizing and deploying projects. Andreas has led innovative projects across Europe and beyond. So we could basically say from Winterthur to Yakutsk, combining photovoltaic systems with biodiversity, rainwater retention, and urban gardening. And he's also vice president of the UN group of experts on renewable energy, making him a true thought leader in climate smart infrastructure, I would say. So very welcome, Andreas. I'm really happy to share your newest research results with us today. I personally had the pleasure to see your presentation in Basel a few weeks ago already, and thanks a lot for being here. And yes, I think Tatiana is sharing the screen for you. So in case you wish to switch the slides, you just say next slide.
Okay, thank you very much. I tried to change also the title, but it was a mismatching. But however, it's really the value, it's the same. Okay, let's go. You see here, welcome and thank you for being here and to look what we are. We are a team. Maybe I'm the founder and the pusher, but we are a big team, and on the same eye level we work together, from producer to researcher to crazy people like me to have ideas, and we work it. We really focus on strict research level, but also on pragmatism. We really want to have it that it is we want to do it not just to talk about and to think about. At the end, the result and the nature, it's the best teacher for us. Everything else, it's nice, but the teacher is the nature. You see in that roof, we tested. This is our test roof, our one which we really work a lot on it, and there we have to do such a lot of things that we test different types of vertical. We test the butterfly, we call them the classical one. We have shade situations. We have now this year was you can imagine it was a new experiment with this very rainy spring, and then it's growing. You can imagine you can feed a goat or a sheep easily with that thing. And now it's so completely dried out. Plants are opportunists. They go, and then they collapse it completely. The clover, we don't like it, of course, and the grass, but it was amazing. Gunther Man was here from book, and we stay there and say, what happens now? That's the reality. With the reality, it's the best teacher is nature. Let's go, please. You see here what we do. A lot of different roofs, older ones, newer ones, side roofs. We make testing with different undergrounds. We work with the albedo effect. There is a lot. If you have detailed ideas, please call me, ask me. I can send you some research paper. Open book. We think we have to work or make big steps now, or not talking about little profits which we can. The market is big enough. Let's do it together. You see here something. If I think we can send then also the presentation. If you want to see more about it, you can see it later. This one is in the middle of the city, of our little city Zurich. You see here the mixed roof. One, it's the testing roof in the middle, and the oldest one, it's with these small modules. Remember, on other products, we started with them. We see that it's not marketable. We have to go to another way. That's what was our decision, just to see it. Please, next slide. You see here, we test it, and you see in the back on the left picture, another green roof. It looks not like a green roof, but it is a green roof. Many roofs also in Switzerland looking like these brown ones. They give no labor, not much to do. That's great, but it's not green. And you see our one with a little storage of water, 6 centimeters. You see complete another scenery. On the right side, we have a cable car station up in the famous skiing place Flims-Lax. You see it. We work also on the subconstruction. It means we want to substitute wood and substitute the steel and the aluminium to much less CO2 footprint material called wood. We use Robinia, calcifolia. This is the most resistant material, I mean wood, which we can stick in the soil for the next 30 years without any problem, believe me. And this is a neophyte coming with Columbus 500 years ago, but we have it and we can use it and take a good stuff with that. We have some clients like the Federal Switzerland. They say how much is the footprint of the installation, and then you have to calculate a lot of things, aluminium, steel, the module, the cables, and we have a little piece which we can do. Okay, next step. Okay, we see here, we go to measure, we go really scientist level, the PV, then biodiversity, fauna and flora, recording water retention, determination of care, maintenance, and we really think on the market, not only on good ideas, and the roof monitoring. Let's go, please. If you want to have the research paper over it, it's in English and German from my side. I changed my name a little bit from A777. This is my personal name. Shortage, my name, it means in German 37er. It is how it is. And the A, it's my shortage for my Andreas. And I changed now to a more useful name, and I say Grow Solutions. I bring the solutions together. It was my idea why it's changing to the other homepage. Okay, you see here the situation, what we do on this roof, how we collect the research, how we started the different fields, and we can create the results on it. And you see it was a classical industry building, on now 25 flats are inside, with the respect to the old story of this building, very respectful, made by the architect, really we call them with the Fingerspitzengefühl, with the sensitivity to respect an old building, but you make it really useful for the modern lifestyle. Let's go. You see here different types what we tested. The classical uses and the vertical closer with smaller modules. We have certain regulations that we can go over. We can go over, but we need a permission, and something is without permission. You know what I mean. It's always the same in these regulations, that we have to find a way that we have it easier or more respected to the building. It means sometimes it's too high, not really nice. We have pictures, private houses, which we have not to go too high, only we don't want to go too high with the modules, but otherwise it's like the industry zones don't care about. It's really nothing special. Okay, good, next. What is more and more important, we're not talking about only about the green stuff, biodiversity, sustainable things. We have to see the reality on the market with electricity. More and more. It was last weekend in Germany was 18 hours negative price of electricity pushed by solar. Yes, a reality. In Switzerland, more and more too. We are a little bit later. I hear the same from Armenia and Georgia. Net billing. Net billing means the same. They have all the installations done and the maximum of kilowatt hours production over the year. Not looking about the season, the maximum of kilowatt hours over the year. It means everybody is producing from 12 to 2 o'clock, the maximum. What the hell you will do with this? A lot of electricity, you see the answer. Which the vertical installation, we have a camel figure on the dromedar. I love the dromedars too, but this is the solution. We have to go more and more to phase when we use it. And this is one side, the market, but the self-consumption, which will be more important, not only in Switzerland with the little houses or in the DACH region, also in other places, then you realize, oh, why I have to produce, oh, I can store it. Yeah, but the storage, like a battery, an accumulator, whatever you told them, it is also a costly thing on the resource binding installation. Why should that produce when you use it? Just to show it, please. Next, yes. You see here a little house. This is they like we come to make a denser use of the same building. That was a good house, but they two levels higher with this woody piece. And then you see they one of the owners say, no, I want the maximum, and the others say, no, I want to have just vertical to have the better profile through the day. And you see the result, how it is looking. I have not much to explain. If you want to have more details, you can ask me. We are working really about these installations together with the product of SolarEdge. It is sometimes black and white for some people. They say no, and others say yes. We have very good results with them. And if it's something growing up or the shading and all the things, especially also in the mountains, but not only, also here, we're working very successfully with this technological solution. Please, next. Yes, you see here, sometimes we have also in our town snow, some days, maybe not 5 days, but we have. And you see the reaction, one is working properly, producing on a, in winter always on a low level, but it is producing when we really use the power, and the other not. Okay, next. Then we go up, we have sometimes dust, more and more. We had Sahara dust, also in Switzerland. We have ash from Canada, no joke, it's a reality. I think it will be not less in the next years. And we have snow. I see the picture. This is not a fab somewhere. It's the fab of Coca-Cola. We call them here, it's a premium bottled water. It calls Walserwasser in Switzerland. And this water is really, yes, I say, it's a good advertising for Coke. They have sometimes an image problem, you know it. But you see here, we produce exactly when the other one it's down nearly to zero for some days. I'm not, but it's a good picture to show how it can work. We respect it to the conditions, to adapt the best solution for the conditions. There is not black and white. We can mix it, but it is another way, and we have to be clever, more smart. Okay, next, please. We really go to figure out also the biodiversity. This is not just fancy or something like that. No, we do it. We do it properly to to collect all the plants, and we see the 20, and we find after 3 years 70 still. There are some efforts. Yes, there are some trees we don't want, we not seeded, that their nature is nature, and we have a interesting result, and how to react, how to handle it with the neophytes, and all this is not an easy way, but we do it and we found a solution. Okay. You see here how we do it with the traps. This is a standard type of selecting with the bugs to find out how many on which types. Then we can find out how biodiverse this roof is under these conditions. And I told you we had this year really aggressive growing up of grass and clover, like an overtaking, and it's now partly collapsing. And this is very interesting to see who is surviving under these conditions. We will see it, and yeah, that's the reality. Okay, please. What we do, we store water, rainwater retention. It's not a jokey thing. It's if we have thinking early enough on this topic, then we can store the water on the roof. Then it's a cheap way, not the cheapest, but it can be a cheap way, or the cheapest, if you collect the water in the underground, somewhere on the same space where the building and surrounding is. But we do it on the roof. Then we have a good transpiration and evaporization, and we have a simple storage here with the product of Cinco. And then we have a good opportunity to bring back the cooling to the environment. And very, very important, when we have transpirating plants, then we have a cooling effect to the building, to the penthouse. I learned 30 years ago from an Indian engineer. They told me, yes. When we cool down the penthouse 2 degrees, we save 20% of cooling energy. Air condition. Yes, we have not always air condition in the middle of Europe, but coming more and more. On which time? Exactly. On the hottest times through the day. Okay. You see here, we are thinking also on the next level. See the problem with the clover. You see nettle growing. That's not the idea, but it's a reality. I was thinking a long time to bring this picture or not, and say we have everything under control. No, we haven't. But we're working on the solution, and see in the back, we testing our robot. The robot, it's special made. We adapted 2 classical robots from loan cutting. They are not working really properly for our ideas. We have in future a robot. It will be ready for the pilot in next spring, and in summer we have it marketable. We can buy it. The thing is that we have a robot which has a completely separate navigation. The electric field, it means the DC field, it's not always compatible with the robot, the activity of the robot. We may have to make it separately. The second is we have a special cutting system. We have a blade system and not a turner. And this is a completely another game, which we are doing. And we cut it much higher. We have to find out what happens when we cut it on 15 centimeters. We give like a cushion over the soil. We make like a mattress with green, but we don't know what happens with this green, which type of plants will love it or survive it under these conditions with these selections. But we not let it higher, that we have as less as influence to the shading to the modules. And you know it from loan, when we cut it too deep in summer, then it's drying out. We have to cut it longer, the grass longer, then it's shading the soil, and it is longer green than brown. Okay, next picture. Yes. Then you see here what we do a little bit from our testing, how we go and how we combine these different types of green roofs to this PV and green roof on the same place. What's the result? If you want to see it, you can have this test, the final report. I told you to see it's over 90 sites. Please, next. Yes, some realities. We go to snow. Yes, a hard discussion. How high we go with this installation. It's costly. It's more statical problems you involve, but the snow, it's melting around the modules. Here's also an answer why we use Solar Edge with the optimizer. Then we see it in another place. I showed you one picture with this woody construction. It's completely through engineered. It's not just a trying out. And you see the other roof on the left side, we testing the distance between the modules, 1 meter, 1 meter 50. It's a hard discussion with some people from the authorities to say, too close, it's shading each other. We say, no. First, we have to shade. Second,
where are they?
have
Why haven't I been admitted?
Okay, we have.
Where's the sound? Because I turned my sound down. Are you on next? I won't turn my sound up until you're sent.
We have the 1 meter, we have 1 meter 50. We say we have an influence of 3 effects to have an influence to the production. It's the direct light, it means the shading, 2. Second is indirect light, and the albedo effect. Snow, it's the best reflector of the natural reflector to the modules, especially in wintertime, of course. Next picture. Yes. Then shortly, a short step out. Not only solar, we have a technology in Switzerland. You see the 6-blader, which is another solution also to use a roof. If you have a little wind, you have not much wind in Switzerland, believe me, we have to be very carefully and to use it, why we use this technology. And you see it's a good brother or sister to solar wind to have in wintertime more production when you have less by solar. Next picture, please. Yeah, you see a little bit turning. It's a slow turner beside, and slow, it means less maintenance. It means no problems or less problems with birds and bats. Much less. Okay, good. Next. You see here a little curve. It is with very less wind on the right side that it's jumping up. When it has enough power, then it is really turning. Double of speed means 8 times more kilowatt hours. It's another game. Wind and solar, you cannot compare it directly. You see on the left side the productivity. It's the line up, and the line to the side. It means 3 and 7. It means 3 times or 7 times faster than the wind. I told you it's a slow turner. It's had a lot of advantages. On the productivity, it's the other line on the left up. You see it's very productive. Not to tell you, if you want to know more, you know my address. Thank you. Next, please. Picture. Yeah, why not to combine it in urban conditions? Come on. Urban gardening, absolutely possible. We work with biochar. We have to be carefully if it's too much growing sometimes, but for such a use, why not? We have in Switzerland, it calls Perche et Légumes, in French-speaking area, on the lake of Geneva. They make fantastic solutions with vegetable gardens between the vertical installed modules. Why not? It's absolutely an opportunity up to your project. Next, please. Yeah, and sometimes it's also a question of design. Why not? Black modules with black subconstruction. You see it? They look for the taste on this same area, skiing area of Limslachs, and you see in the back it's like a space. This mountain, Grabs und John, it's in the in the east part of Switzerland. They have another language. John, it's close to Latin, an old language, which is some 10,000 people speak it. Our fourth language in Switzerland. Yes, Romansch. Please, next picture, please. Yes, they are our partners, different partners, big ones, small ones. And we are supported by the Ministry of Energy for this solution and our research partner. It's this Applied Science University of Zurich. Next, please. Yes, you see here we have visitors from all over the world, and this picture are from Ukraine, from Austria, from Germany. Yes, we are open-minded and we are open to realize we are makers, researchers, but also makers. We love to make it if that brings us fast in progress to realize good examples, to adapt to your conditions under your situation, circumstances. They are a little bit different. We have to respect it, but we know a lot how we can do it together with local or national partners to make all steps. Vera was telling me we have a test installation in Yakutsk in Siberia. We have installations in Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, and yes, we hope soon we have in other places too, to show it is not rocket science, it's a really useful technology also for other conditions, to combine it on the right way. Thank you very much. I hope the connection was okay. I'm sorry for my complications which I make for you.
Andreas, thanks a lot for your great presentation. It's a bit also to open our minds and see where current research is actually going, what's happening on the market, because yes, green roofs and the combination with solar panels is not something that actually happened yesterday. So already since, I would say, 10 years, most system providers out there in the market, the larger ones, have a ready-made solution that basically fits on new projects very well. But on the other hand, yeah, so this is a very, very broad topic. The benefits are very variable, I would say. So yes, looking out for smart solutions and combinations, and also thinking differently, especially when retrofitting solar on existing green roofs, which also sometimes happens if there is a specific policy in place which says don't implement either or, implement together. Like, for example, this is the case if we're looking at the city of Vienna, for example, or the city of Graz from my personal environment. So yes, my dear speakers, we have still, yes, some time left, probably 10 to 15 minutes. We also received a long list of questions. So probably you could both get your cameras on again. And I was wondering, so I think we could start with a few questions to Andreas that specifically came out from his presentation. So we had a participant who asked, yes, why have you chosen for vertical position of the solar panels? I think you answered it, of course, in certain ways. So yes, it is because of the snow, and yes, we can grow a lot of different plant species between them because we have, of course, more space, and the water management in the roof is also much easier. Yes, so could you probably once more summarize for us, Andreas, what you consider the main yes, what's driving you mainly to go for the vertical bifacial installations?
Yeah, that's a good question. We started with the research to fix this most useful advantage from the plants to solar. We started around 15 years ago and see, oh, that can be a conflict of interest for the future about solar and green roofs. We need both. Okay. Then we make a really intensive test. I can send you this abstract too. Over 1,000 square meters, we make different test fields. Believe me, we take irrigation on a hilly green roof. We make a little bit green hilly under the modules. When we are higher, we go higher with the soil and we install it. We try everything. We have a gravel roof to the opposite that we can use. It's traditionally here. Normally the surface, the bitumen or the Sarnafil or what else, EPDM, TPO, or what else, PVC, they cover it always with gravel. This is the classical one. Then we say, oh, the green of its advantage that we cooling the modules. That was our step. We tested it. Believe me, we have such examples. We say, oh, something in between 5, 10, 20%. We say, okay, let's test it. Sorry, we test with million data. We measure the temperature, we measure the kilowatt hours, of course. We testing the all these different things, the humidity. We find out between gravel and irrigated green roof, it was 3 degrees. Not nothing. The effect is existing, but on kilowatt hours, it was less than 0.7. 0.7. Sorry, we can not use it as an economical argument. Okay, we stopped it and then we go to the vertical. That was the idea. We learn it from the bad results.
I see. Yes, so there is, of course, a lot of studies out there. There had been also activity in the chat about it, from very different projects, different applications, different spacing, different systems, different use cases with a lot of varying data on the different benefits. One of them, yes, being the boost for the energy production system, and the other one concerning energy savings in the building itself, also because a green roof is applied. So probably, I think we still had 2 very specific questions to you, Andreas, that came when you showed us a specific project. So one participant had asked, what's the increased ballast load requirement between traditional 10 to 15 degree panels and bifacial panels? And this probably also goes together well with a second question that we received. Sorry, our audience loved the combination with the small wind turbine. And the second question was, are the vertical solar panels stormproof?
Very good questions. Very good questions. I showed you why I showed you also the mountain installations. We go up to 1500 meters, not that much, but you can imagine there can be a storm, different type of. Okay, we always calculated with the software the static. You can imagine the first line when it's we have the strongest wind is coming in Switzerland, like a lot of places, from the west. And this line is on the most under pressure. The first line takes 70% of the power. But now the good thing is, it's a power on pushing. It's not a vacuum. When you have a butterfly or like a hut or a hill, a roof, then you have the vacuum. We haven't that vacuum. We have to really be smart to calculate the ballasting. But ballasting is not always much more possible. Then we have to stop like a brake with rubber mats. We have to be with profiles to help. Does the second and the third line help the first line to hold it? We have solutions. We calculated exactly that roof which I showed you with this 1 meter and 1 meter 50. That is we call them the south wind, the föhn. Very strong. We have to calculate that there. Everything is like in a U-profile construction, like a skeleton, like the system. Please, we have it, we know what we do, and we really look for it. It's not that much. It's the modules type they have. We are not so happy with the modules on the market on certain details, technical details. Why we want to find a European producer. Nothing against Chinese, but we have not to give them everything for free. We have to be smart. Exactly now was a call from a Swiss producer, Megasol, about it. We have to talk that we have a solution in Europe for these vertical modules. You have to see, we install them sometimes in mountains over the next 30 years. They have a little bit different conditions to hold it. Maybe for the next 10 years it's easy, but 30 years it's a different case. All these things just to tell you that we have to work really smart on it, and step by step we have to optimize the solution also for the cables. Not everything is done, but we are really proper working on it. And I can say it is not rocket science. It's absolutely in the normal level of static calculation, and it's sometimes possible with the ballasting. Sometimes we have roofs which have different case, especially steel roofs, not only concrete roofs. It's not so easy, but we find always any kind of solution for, of course, certain price.
Understood. Yes. Yeah, I'm afraid we will not have the time today that we go deep into price discussions. Nevertheless, we also received, of course, questions into that direction. But thanks a lot, Andreas. Just to give you a bit of a shortcut also. So if you take a look at the chat, probably later on, there would be probably some more specific questions to you in regards to the converter and how it deals with all four azimuths, vertical, bifacial, north, south, plus east, west. So probably you could find a good answer and answer this directly in the chat. Probably some questions to you, Sophie, as well, because I think that was quite nicely addressed also in the guidance. So we had participants who were interested about the questions if there were any public sector funding routes or incentives available that support these types of integrated projects currently. And I think that question links very well also with the policy question. So my first, let's say, preliminary answer to that is yes, if we're looking at the topic from a, I would say, pan-European perspective, we find certain regions and cities that can serve as front-runner examples. They already have implemented their policies. They have harmonized their green roof and their solar policies. They are providing cadastre systems also and have specific regulation, what needs to be done in case of refurbishment project, but also new projects. And in some cases, also now at the beginning of the implementation, subsidies are being presented. I can just probably bring one example that people would like to explore further. I think it's also addressed in the Biosolar Roof Guide. The city of Vienna, for example, has also a specific funding and subsidy for integrated projects available that is basically not supporting, of course, the full installation cost, but there are specific funds that target an enhanced or more holistic planning phase, which is relevant for this project and is also a relevant cost, or that also specifically targets the more costs when installing both systems at the same roof space. So yes, we find different examples, but yes, probably over to you, Sophie. So I think there is policy and also incentive examples included in the guidance, right?
Yes, the case, and I think that you are the best placed, Vera, because I think Austria is really the best in class regarding incentives. But for there are public planification tools that it's not incentive, but it's obligation, or let's say good recommendation to combine, to integrate those solar and green roofs. But in France, it's early beginning, and there are, yes, some examples in the section regarding regulations and policies in the guide, right?
Yes. So probably some participants seem to have issues getting the guide. In case these issues are persistent, also to you, Stephen, if you don't receive per email a link for the download, probably get in contact with us and we will find out where the problem in your specific case would be. Yeah, just use the EFB office address and we will try to help you out. Yes, probably some more specific questions. Yeah. Can permissions be obtained more quickly? That's a really good question. And I think that question goes probably towards Andreas, because also in Switzerland, I think there is a long-term development, not just on green roofing, but also on solar green roofing. So we find already a lot of cities and regions, and also on a national aspect, that basically the homework was done, which always, of course, when a technological combination is really introduced already into daily life, then also the permissioning gets much faster, because yes, we are just moving from a singular project to a strategic deployment, which of course makes a big difference, right?
True. That's true. But the good thing is always make a good example. The newest example which we have as example we need the public-private partnership. We need that. I found a real estate guy, a local one, regional one maybe. He say, I will have the newest. I say, okay, we do it. You cannot imagine, it was not easy to fight through until the end. The solar installer was saying, oh, I'm crazy about the dry layer, it's safe when we dig it, and I don't want. But the owner and the one who is paying say, no, I will have it. We make butterfly vertical on the turbines. It's a challenge. We go vertical also on the metal roof. Why? About the profile for the future, to show people this is so important, always closed with the researchers together and to have real facts. But it takes a long time, but good examples from such kind of people which are not stupid, they are economically also successful. They're not dreamers, believe me, not dreamers. But this is so important to make it. And I really like to help you. There are different, the playground is similar, and we have the politics, we have the suppliers. We have 700 suppliers in Switzerland. You cannot imagine. There are kingdoms in the democracy, in the pattern democracy Switzerland, the direct democracy. But the suppliers are kingdoms. You have to mostly really fight with them. But not as enemies. We have to find solutions. And this is very important, to respect the other players. And then you can go step by step. You give them something in the hand for the future, but you need a long-term thinking and long-term doing that we can have a result. And the best is really, I never forget, I had visited in Parma, the university, to make a good example. You cannot imagine it's not working now. But these people, I show them my presentation, and then they say, we have to see it, we have to feel it. Yes, mans need to touch it. That's true. They say it. They are not too high, too academic to say, I need to feel it. And this is so important. Don't think it's not so important. A good example, it's the best help for these things. And of course, the real results. Then you can really go all this through, and we can really help you with these regulatory papers. From UN was now a question for Central Asia, how we can do it for agri-PV, also for the roofs and all these things, how you have regulated exactly. This is the way which we can learn from each on the same AI level, and please do it, and we will really support what we can to you, to your place and to your situation.
Thanks a lot, Andreas. I think that was basically a bit of a perfect summary. So from the first idea to planning to installation and maintenance, solar green roof are a joint exercise. We cannot do that alone. We must come together in a highly skilled group to deploy really meaningful, well done projects that fit, of course, the direction of policy in terms of renewables, but also sustainable buildings that we are heading to. Thanks a lot to both of you. You have been, I think, giving us some great speeches today. We received a lot of positive comments in the chat, and we had, I think, close to 90 people present. So I would say this was a great webinar today. So thanks a lot again. I'm just left with probably a few more slides that I'm going to use in order to close up this webinar. So yes, just to give you also a link to another republication that was recently made available. This is basically the benefits of green buildings, compilation of numbers, data, and facts from different investigations across Europe and beyond. You can also access it. I was also posting it in the chat, and it of course also contains specific research projects and their results in order to, so in combination with the biosolar question, but far beyond. So please feel invited. Yes, you've seen that part already. We have some upcoming events, 2026, that I would like to highlight today. So the World Congress of Building Greening that will take place in Berlin in June next year, where of course we will see in the exhibition, but also here a lot of different talks on how our industry basically has developed throughout the year 2025. So we always do a bit of a wrap up. Feel invited to join us at this great conference where basically our industry comes together. 2026, there will be actually a second conference as well in Barcelona in autumn. The webinars, where we're currently having one of them, we got a lot more of them, also about bad practice of roofs, what we can learn from them, about integrating specifically biodiversity on roofs, animal-aided design. We had this recent webinar just 3 weeks ago, but also on stormwater management or technical aspects on fire regulations, how to install also green facades well. So please go to the EFB YouTube channel, explore this universe, just rewatch the webinars, and yes, feel free to use all this knowledge that we are trying to get across people as easy as we can. So yes, summarizing just in time, 2 minutes before our webinar ends. I hope I did not forget anything, probably the closing words over to Tatiana, but once more, thanks a lot to Sophie and thanks a lot to Andreas for your really valuable inputs. I hope our participants can benefit from today. And yes, over to you, Tatiana, and it was a pleasure to host you today again from my side.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you very much, Vera, for your excellent moderation. It was amazing. Thank you very much for managing all the difficult circumstances so well. We also wanted to express our gratitude to the companies who supported this event, to Fürs, Grün, and to Sempergreen. Thanks to these companies, you could attend it today for free. Thank you very much. You help us to spread the knowledge.
Yes, we will. I would say it's officially closed now, so everybody can, of course, log themselves out, and we were really happy to host it today. And yes, happy stand-up for you to make yourself visible. I think we stopped the recording, and we can still have a chat. I have another few more minutes, guys.